What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages across the world, across the galaxy? What's up, all my beautiful people? That's how I introduce myself on the Purpose Pod. My name is Alan Levi Simmons, and I am the host of the Purpose Pod. I'm excited to have you all here today on the 245th Marine Corps birthday. Hey, Summerville. All right. I'm back. All right. So today I have the honor of bringing one of my good brothers from Summerville, South Carolina, on the Purpose Pod today. It's time to go back. It's time to take a trip back. So let's bring on another Marine himself, Mr. Emile Revannah. What up, brother? What's
up,
good
brother?
with you, brother? Ain't nothing, man. I see the background. I see what you got right there in the background. You got what you got playing on in the background. What's that?
Those guys?
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, just the silent drill team, fellas. They something serious. They nothing to mess with. You know,
they ain't nothing to mess with.
Nothing to mess with. I'm telling you.
I could have sworn you would have been one of those guys too, though. Like you. Hey, look, like, let me tell y'all about this dude right here. So this guy, straight, we go to boot camp. He can't just sit in the back. He can't just like chill out. You know, he goes out there and he's like a superstar. He's like the talk of the town. And he's not even a boot. He's not even a recruit anymore. He gets special privileges and stuff. So like,
oh wow.
But no, man, like, when was it? We went through boot camp together, and it's just so crazy. Like, you know, going on that buddy program to Parris Island was like, what would you say that experience was like for you first? What would you say that was like for you?
I'll be real. It was once in a lifetime. There's nothing like it. It was life changing. It was world changing.
Yeah.
Absolutely every aspect of life thereafter, it seemed like it was different. Seemed like it was altered somewhat from the Marine Corps, but it seemed better. It just seemed like we went through a real transformation, and I seemed like a more whole man because of it afterwards, you know?
Yeah, man. So do you remember like pulling up to that night when we got to Parris Island before they like rushed us through those metal doors? Do you remember like what it felt like, you know, going in? Because no one knew like what it was like to become a Marine at that point in time. Like the guys we went with, Edwin Soda Clark, you know, we had Trevor Murray, you know, and then we had me and you. So like no one knew what it was like at first. So how would you describe to some high school kid or some person who's thinking about going into the Marine Corps? How would you describe, you know, your time spending or standing on the yellow footprints before you go through those double doors?
I can honestly say that, and I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but I actually did have just a pinch of experience because you know I did ROTC in high school,
Right.
and at the very least, I was able to go on a field trip to Parris Island, so I was able to see some of the ins and outs of how the Marine Corps, or at least the recruit training, was. Just a little pinch of it, and the footprints. Uh, just because we were there, we got to stand on the footprints in high school as just regular high school students, just to see what it was like, you know. And none of us really expected to be there anytime later. But I actually can say I had some practice, at least with the anxiety part. You know, standing on those footprints was very different, though.
Yeah, that's real though. And I think when I got there, I just remember like the drill instructor coming on the bus and like him yelling. That was I never had the training, or I didn't know what it was like, because, you know, mine was just a random moment of you know, uncertainty joining the Marine Corps. But, you know, going on that buddy program, so I didn't know what I was walking into. And it was like a culture shock for me because I wasn't in ROTC and I wasn't used to that kind of, you know, order and structure, you know, and you were able to like push through and thrive, and you were naturally athletic in itself. So like, you know, that's why what was your 3-mile run? What was your time on that?
Officially in boot camp, it was 1809, but
1809.
they officially like had the distances wrong. I personally, I think I ran sub 18, but I'm not about to lie and boost. So we'll just leave it at 1809 for now.
Yeah. Yeah. 1809. Yeah. I could still get a good, 20-minute mile, 3 mile in,
You
today.
solid because of it. Trust me. Hey,
Yeah.
look, we got a couple of years on us now. All right.
Yeah, we do. I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to go through that training though. Like the boot camp was just, well, it wasn't as far as I can say it now. Like I'm so glad we went through that. But you saw the torture that I caused a lot of you in boot camp because I wasn't sounding off or I wasn't following the rules. And I remember looking across at you, and he was so disappointed. he was because I was getting in trouble and they didn't like put, I think they punished me and they punished the people across from me too, and you was directly across from me, and it was
yeah. But you know what though, that
uh
that taught us a lot. It taught us a lot.
it did.
um for one, we figured out what each other's thresholds were. We knew that we were the only ones that had each other's backs. We knew
That's
how
facts.
much the other one could take. We knew
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes we had to bear the load for each other. And
Yep.
again, like it tested so much about us, and it told us a lot about ourselves. And
Yeah.
that which we thought, which we really weren't so secure about.
Mm-hmm.
All those insecurities came out. They were put on the table. We were tested. We were measured. And if we were
Right.
found wanting, that's when your brothers next to you had to either pick you
Mm.
up or we had to weed them out of the system. That
Come
was it.
on, brother. Come on. That's what I'm talking about right there. Come on, you sound like a speaker right there. That motivational speaking right there, man.
You know what? I was a life coach before this podcast started.
So that's how your transition. Well, we'll get into the life coaching too because I want to get into that. And what I wanted to do today was to highlight one of my brothers that was there with me from the jump. I'm talking about like day one boot camp jump. Like we was right there with each other. Even before that, prior to that, pulleys, and even in high school and stuff. So like, just having someone that went through those transitions it's just cool, and then see you in Okinawa, Japan was just another dope thing. I was
Yeah,
so
that was dope.
excited to see you there, bro. I was like, yes, this is it. You know what I'm saying? but
Yeah, that was a
man,
surprise though. I didn't
it
expect
was.
to I didn't expect to see each other once we got over there, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like we were at Courthouse Bay. Courthouse Bay was a whole different experience. Like I'm talking about, they made us sit outside reading books and stuff because they would make us march to Chow. Remember that because we got in trouble so many times.
We didn't get in trouble. It was
But
everybody
yeah,
else. This is
we
how it
didn't
went.
get in trouble. There were people getting in trouble that got us all in trouble. Y'all probably watching tonight. We see y'all on display. But yeah, and that's the thing about being in the Marine Corps, man. It's like when you get in trouble, everybody else gets in trouble too. Like it's no like it's the grandparent that beats everybody. Like like everybody's getting a beating today because somebody did it, right?
Yeah, it's
Um
all inclusive.
it's all inclusive. You get an all inclusive stay,
Yeah,
and
man.
that's real, man. And I wanted to tap out, because it was for me, I couldn't take somebody like getting into my mind and like tearing me down, and it was tough at first, but then I started seeing like the finish line. Like I was like, all right, man, like it was really motivation that you guys were in there because I think if y'all wasn't in there, I would have probably been locked up somewhere in the brig because I would have had to fight one of our drill instructors because they was trying. And look, you got to have so much bearing to go through boot camp, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of the most. To this day, I can't think of a more intense test of one's will, physical, mental, emotional elasticity. I mean, they're gonna test you to your absolute most. But when you think about it, they call us the tip of the spear for a reason. Um, you
Yeah,
don't want the tip of the spear to be dull. That's the first line of defense, and that's the first thing to make contact. You don't want it to be dull. You want it to be absolutely sharp. So
right.
everywhere
Mm,
should be tested to its utmost. And I mean,
yeah.
some of the training we endured was a little intense, but I mean, again, for us to bear some of the titles that we do, we needed to be tested to our absolute limits, and I appreciate that to this day.
Amen to that, brother. Like,
that's real.
You made me want to join again. Like, I'm trying to become the tip of the spear again. Like, God dang it. Like, for real, man. Like,
nah, don't go re-up, man.
don't go re-up, man. Nah, but you're right though, and it's the experience. I remember going through boot camp, and or even the Crucible. Like when we were going through the Crucible training, or that training right there, bro. Like I seen people drop out, pass out. Like it was another world. I felt like I was taken from the United States of America and placed in the Middle East somewhere. You know, they made the Crucible feel like war. And
do you remember the flares? Like something about the flares made it feel like, oh, we over here.
Oh, we over here.
We in it. Uh-oh.
Right. And that was a big push because you had to buddy carry people, you had to drag people through mud, you know. So for you being a Marine, what did that teach you as far as, you know, going through that buddy carrying, learning how to pretty much lay your life down for the next person? That's what we really learned in boot camp. It was like, you're no longer an I. There's no I. The first thing out of your mouth, if you say I, you're going to the sandbox. You're going to the quarterdeck.
Straight away. I mean, at the end of the day, when the platoon is compared to a chain, and you only being as strong as the weakest link, doing team building exercises, it really brings into perspective what that guy to the left and the right of you means. You know, not only to you but to the entire platoon, and in the big picture to the integrity of the Marine Corps and the United States. Like when it comes to checking the guy to your left and your right, you know, it's something about learning his physical fitness when you got him on your back, and vice versa. All those exercises play an integral role in building that whole person that is a Marine. Again, like we all have specific instances we can look back to, you know, and different times in boot camp where we felt we were tested this and that way. But everything, even down to the way we eat, is a test in the Marine Corps.
It is. Man. We eat fast. Hey, look, mama, like just breathe, chew a little bit. And I'm like, I remember in boot camp, you know, remember when we had to eat like this? Like it was no like looking down at your plate. It was just looking directly across from you. And it was just like that. And you would have thought that was stupid at that time. But, you know, when you're at war or just in general in life in itself, is teaching you awareness. Be aware 24/7 of your surroundings and of the people around you. So like, I'm like that all the time. Like I'll go somewhere and I'll just be like, you know, I'm just more aware, you know, and I feel like the military teaches you that. But so what is
awareness, right?
Yeah, situational awareness. There you go. You over here about to drop acronyms and stuff. Go ahead. Smear. But so I was thinking about boot camp, right? And graduation. So now tell me if this happened to you. What happened? What was your experience when you got your EGA, your Eagle Globe and Anchor? What was your experience like when you got that?
It was like trying to hold in an immense amount of pressure. It was like shaking up a 2-liter bottle of Coke and trying to open it slowly.
Right.
Those were the tears that I was holding back. All right.
Yeah.
It was surreal though. Actually, you know, officially becoming a part of the group that we had trained so hard to become part of. You know, the guys that we saw up on the billboards, you know, the guys that we've seen in the movies, whether they were black and white movies, whether they were recently, everything that a Marine was, you know, that we thought a Marine was or that we wanted it to be, we became everything, and every ounce of that, we became it on that day. And it was incredibly special. I mean, between me and you, I didn't cry at all. Like, I wasn't like, me? Nah.
Yeah.
I think I saw you cry a little bit. That was great.
You know, I cried. I was over there like this. Right when they put that junk in my head, I was over there like, I'm over here about to, man, nah, but that because it just like, I never received anything. You know, I never worked so hard for something in my life at that point in time. We were young kids, you know what I'm saying? Like we played sports and everything. We went to school, but I had never like, blood, sweat, and tears, like literally, I never put that much work into anything before. And so when I got the EGA, when I got the Eagle Globe and Anchor, it was all of that, like you said, everything, wrapped up into some like a Coke bottle, and you're shaking it up and you're trying to open it slowly. Like all of my emotions from like when I wanted to give up, when I wanted to like quit, when I wanted to like punch my drill instructor, like, or when I wanted to punch another recruit, like all of those feelings came back, and then the drills that we did, all the running and the training that we did, everything kind of like went like woof, it kind of just like one of those 3D movies and stuff. It just happened like
Comes
that.
full circle.
Yeah, man. So it was a blessing, man. I think that was one of the proudest moments of my life. I think nothing could probably I could be the president of the United States, and like I don't think that would even top, becoming a Marine. So
I mean, agreed. On that day, at that time, we became superheroes.
Right.
Like let's just face it. We became the tip of the spear. Like, and no one could tell us anything other than that.
That's true.
But when it comes to being prepared to possibly go to a combat zone or go somewhere where you have to be next level, yeah, you have to believe every single bit of that.
Right.
All of that has to be real deal confidence that has been instilled within each and every Marine. Like, so, and something about the way they put together this ceremony, it just makes it so real.
Yeah.
Again, when they
Can
put
can
that
you walk
EGA
our
in your hand.
listeners? Can you walk the listeners through the the process from boot camp? From the crucible over to the ceremony.
From the crucible to the ceremony?
Yeah, like the
Well,
walk back from the crucible, the hike back from the crucible.
oh man. Well, the hike back, there are a lot of people that they thought that it was over, they thought that they endured everything, but then they realized they have several miles to hump back with all their gear.
Right.
They might have to carry other people's gear, other Marines' gear, because they're lagging as close to the end. These are miles and miles that we put down with these boots on. Our feet stink, our feet hurt,
Right.
you know. But the closer you get, you know, back to the center of the base, you start to see things that are familiar to you again. You start to
Right.
realize that, man, I'm that much closer to being done. And all the pain and blood and sweat that you left back there, you don't feel any of it anymore. You feel as though you're more fresh than you just started. That's because that culminating moment is right ahead of you. You know, you can almost taste it, you can feel it, and it's that much closer to freedom and being out of
Yeah,
boot camp. But all those things, all those emotions that you feel on the way back, it's really hard to explain. Again, I'm gonna have to
it
tell
is.
this analogy again about that Coke bottle, because
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to not being able to control emotions, you wait till the people that love and care about you are there for you at graduation, or
Right.
when you get that EGA. It's absolutely special.
Yeah. I think every man should become a Marine. Every person should have to be a Marine. I'm just playing. All the Army and Air Force guys will apologize, but you know how it is. But
Hey, look,
man,
I'll go with what you said first, man. I'm
they'll
with
be
you
like,
there.
yeah, right. But so for you, what did you take from your service in the military as a Marine?
I mean, honestly, that's like asking how does an airplane work, because it's so many levels to it. There's so many
Well,
levels
let's
to
let's let's
the way.
let's unpack your levels.
Um, well, level one, uh, I think was confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Because before the Marine Corps, I was pretty confident. You know, we all played sports. You know, we all knew that we were physically capable. I had achieved some mental greatness. You know, I had some academic accolades. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't until the Marine Corps that I realized there were some things that were slightly out of my grasp, where they did take me out of my comfort zone, and that as long as I believed I was able to do something, I for the most part could. And so that confidence being tested and
Yeah.
actually I had actually had to apply it on the spot. That's probably one of the greatest things I took away from it. That'd be level one. Level two, rifle skills. I didn't know anything about the rifle till the Marine Corps. That's why I think attaining expert was kind of easy. It was a matter of taking in everything they had to teach me, applying it, without any preconceived notions, and putting it to the test. And that allowed me to put a round from 500 yards with no scope into the black every time.
Right. We're going
things
iron
like
sights.
that no one can take that away from us. That's what we took away from the Marine Corps. By the way, if they need me back, you can't have me back. Right?
You ain't going back. Go ahead, you can go back, man. You got to cut that beard, but
they have to cut it off of me. All right.
You can't take my beard, but you could take me. I'm just playing, but but yeah, man. So right now you're doing. You said you were doing life coaching, right?
Right now, I'm the director of admissions for an independent living program. So I work with prior foster youth, age 18 to 21, and I help transition them to adulthood.
Wow. How'd you get into that?
Honestly, I'd like to just lie and say that there was some whole career path that I followed to get here, but that's not the case. As it stands, my brother, my older brother, Parris Island,
right.
It was his idea to start Phoenix International Incorporated. Honestly, he's the one that has a heart. He's got the biggest heart out of all of us. And it was his idea to help these foster youth because he was seeing some statistics that were, out there that they really didn't make sense, or he felt that he could help, in certain areas. And knowing that the children are, in fact, our future, it only made sense to try to help these youth that will one day be leading the country that we live in.
Facts.
So in a nutshell, that was my path to doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty cool though. So but you have to have like some kind of connection, or ability to empathize, and connect with these, the youth in order to help them really. So how do you feel like you connect with them?
I connect with them on a lot of levels. Really, I think one of the reasons I'm able to get through to them is because our age difference isn't that great. I'm 32, and these youth are between 18 to 21, so that's about a decade's difference.
Right.
I'm old enough, to have acquired some wisdom, but I'm still young enough to know some of these dances and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, that you just like going to a foreign country, you got to be able to speak the language. These youth aren't going to be able to. They're not going to be able to receive anything. They're not going to be able to reciprocate with anything I'm saying if I don't speak the language.
Yeah.
So I think base level is being able to communicate with them. That kind of gives me an inside look into their brains. And when I level with them, I tell them that I came from a really stable household. Alan, you knew my mom and dad.
Right.
They weren't playing. We had rules. We had this and that. I had curfew. There was no half stepping.
Right.
And so I know the product that can come out of that kind of an environment. But I also understand, some of the kids we went to school with, some of the kids that we would just see around and we knew wasn't in school anymore. I realized that was because they didn't have that foundation. They didn't have mom and dad at home, or they didn't have one of the two at home.
Yeah.
So a lot went into me making this decision. When my brother called me up and proposed this idea to me, a lot went into making this decision. I didn't want to make it hastily and just do it because it was a job. I knew that this is an integral part of fixing some of the things that are systemically wrong with that age group, 18 to 21, man. We got to catch them while we can and do what's right with them. You feel me?
That's true. That's true. That's true. And
a whole lot.
I'm there with you, bro. And I really I wish we were in the same area so that we could attack some of these issues together. One day we could probably do something like that. And as Marines, I feel like we have the tools to do some great things in the country because we actually care. Like, who cares if we hated the military before or after or whatever? But when we were doing what we were doing, like, we had to lead wake up the next day not even knowing like if you were going to have to deploy, not even knowing if you were going to have to lay your life down that day, but you signing up is the yes to saying I will lay my life down for this country. So when you come back as a veteran and you're living and you're seeing people barely making it and struggling in America, you know, like as a veteran, your heart shakes and you see people hurting.
Yeah.
And you want to go and you want to save. Like a lot of veterans feel like they don't have purpose because they're not helping people. You know, that's the one thing we learn how to do as military members. We learn how to help people. It's like a selfless. And so like if you're not helping people, you could feel like you don't have purpose. So when you were after you got out or whatnot, did you ever feel like you didn't have purpose, or did you ever battle with purpose?
Absolutely. I really did battle with that. The idea that what I devoted my life to, or that portion of my life to, which was becoming the best Marine that I possibly could. If you remember the term Semper Gumby, basically meaning always flexible. That's how I went in. I made myself able to absorb everything they taught me. Therefore, when I got out, I realized that there wasn't much of a niche out there for a combat Marine, somebody who knew how to send rounds downrange, somebody who was aggressive at a moment's notice, somebody who could be superhuman 1 second and then do just the amount of flexibility that I had to give myself in order for the Marine Corps to create the best Marine possible. I felt as though when I was out of the Marine Corps, there was absolutely no place for me.
Yeah.
And again, that's hard to articulate because there were several years of my life that I actually felt like that. I felt as though if I wanted to get a job somewhere, how could they use me? You know, what do they need? Somebody who can, shoot or punch through walls, and
right.
These places in the normal world weren't calling for Superman. They were calling for the very normal side of humanity, and that's not what a Marine was trained to be.
Right. Definitely. And I'm glad you said that, bro, because I felt the same way after getting out. I was, it was just like, man, like who am I supposed to be now? Like when you're in the Marine Corps, like what you're gonna do at 0 dark 30, where you're supposed to be at 1600, you're gonna be like this weekend, the next weekend, what your life is gonna look like. Then you get out, and like you said, also those times where we have to turn on the aggressiveness and then turn it off. We have to turn it on and then turn it off. And when we get out, I mean, I remember I was just very angry, like aggressive person. Like I swear, if somebody was fighting nearby, I wanted to find out who was in the fight and like possibly just get in it because I was that aggressive. I wanted to go fight. And my wife would be hanging out with me now, and I'm just be like, man, I just I feel so bad sometimes. I'll be like, man, I want to fight somebody.
Yeah,
I just want to fight because and it's not it's a Marine thing, or it's a military thing. It's like we have years of this like built up aggression, and like you're learning how to be quick with your mindset and your temper so that you can effectively do what you need to do, so where you're looking at a tire as if it's your enemy and you're practicing your stabs in it, and then you're aggressively doing that because you have to be able to turn it on. So I found it really hard to manage in the civilian world after getting out because I was threatening my teachers. I was like, I'm going to stick my fist down your throat. They're looking at me like, what's wrong with this guy? But yeah, so people don't know that either. Like a lot of people don't know a lot of the dark side of when I got out. Like they don't know that side. They just know like, oh, he had PTSD, and like they don't just know how ugly it got, So this is to the veterans, our brothers and sisters out there who are struggling with PTSD and trauma and just anxiety. You get that in boot camp. Like you get all of that in boot camp. But just shout out to all you guys who are struggling out there and who are still making it, because it is tough and difficult to adapt to this civilian world as a veteran. And we understand. So you're not alone if you're feeling a little aggressive out there. maybe we need to create a space and a place for veterans, the Veterans Park.
Well, you know what? I'll interject right there. It's not an actual physical place, besides like a USO or or the VA itself. But when it comes to the veteran online community, just
Yeah,
understand that some of these veterans that you don't know from anywhere, that you've never met, if they're holding their hand out there for as support, go ahead and take it. That's
right.
what we are here for. Every veteran, man, I bet you 9 times out of 10 will drop what we're doing if one of us says
Mm-hmm.
that we're actually feeling a little crazy. We feel like we need somebody to talk to. The thing is, most of the time, no one says anything,
That's a
or there's
fact.
no one to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm making myself available as a veteran. If any of you guys are feeling a little off, hey, just
Yeah,
hit me up. I got a whole life to live, but I got a couple of minutes for you. That's a fact.
yeah, yeah. That's a real fact. So, did you ever go through any parts of your life where you weren't like? I know, like you said, after you got out, you was kind of like the temperament and everything. So could you go into that? Because like when I bring people on the show and people are listening, I want them to understand about the process of purpose and how it won't look pretty all the time. Like, it may look like you have no purpose. It may look like your purpose left you a long time ago, but and here you can stand on the other side after going through like those dark storms and those difficulties and say, I've found my purpose. Do you feel like you can say that right now in your life? Like, man, I believe that I found my purpose.
Uh, at this point, yes, I have uh, found my purpose. I haven't gotten quite to the point where I can say I am being used 100% in the best way I can be, but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely can say I'm getting there. Uh, but what I definitely can say is they're getting out of the Marine Corps, immediately thereafter. That whole bit about having a purpose or finding a purpose, it was incredibly difficult, because in the Marine Corps, besides lifting up and picking up your buddy or strengthening your buddy, Marines we're really taught to destroy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
As far as physical things. Um, uh, Instead of getting a bulldozer to knock down the wall, a Marine will go find 5 other Marines and we're gonna knock it down with our hands. Sometimes that's the
Knock it down.
mentality. You know,
Right.
um, and so when you get out of the Marine Corps and you don't have those brothers so close, right next to you, sometimes you may feel as though you're not as strong as you were before, um, and then you have to compensate for those guys that were to the left and the right. You've got to be the entire Marine Corps all in one person. You know,
Mm.
you couple that with any kind of addictions, whether it be drugs or alcohol, um, food, rage, any of those things, and it
Yeah.
can be. Uh, I'll just say that's the not so pretty side of it.
Yeah.
And again, that's where I make myself incredibly available to any veterans out there that need somebody to talk to, because there's different levels to it. Some people had a smooth transition getting out.
Mm-hmm.
Some had and are still having a rough time since they've been out of the military. Um,
Yeah.
so when it came to my transition and uh, understanding where I was at in life and being able to answer that question, do I feel like I found my purpose, or am I fulfilling? Yes, I'm definitely getting there. But
Mm-hmm.
it took a lot of self-checking, a lot of
Yeah.
self-care to understand that I was hurt and uh, needed to repair myself from the inside out.
Yeah. Wow. That's big surgery. So
It
when you
is,
s-
and
so
I'll say
so
though,
can you talk about could you
you
talk
were a
about
huge
that though?
inspiration for that, by the way.
Oh, really? I was
Uh,
appreciate that, bro.
Not to make it all mushy, man, but yeah, I saw you were tackling some things head on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I considered it really brave of you, and so I hopped on the bandwagon as well.
Word, man. I appreciate that, dog. That's good to know. See, like you helped me help you because you motivated me, through boot camp. Like you was what do we call him? The White Rabbit is the lead. Like we running behind that guy right there. So like everything I could pace for, I was able to pace with you. And I was like, man, if you was gonna jump off a 135-foot building and was like, hey, we're Marines, we can get we'll make it. I'd be like, I'm going with you, brother. Like I would have jumped like off deck, like already. And that's the thing about Marines. Like, that if you say, hey, look, we got to go through this building, and that all hell could break loose through that door, as long as you know who you rolling with, like you're like, all right, let's get it. And this is what we trained for.
we're thinking thoughts like, sorry for the guy on the other side of the door. And
right.
Man, I wonder if he knew all of us would come in,
because we're determined. We're determined to go back home. So like, but yeah, so and for that process, like battling PTSD and suicidal thoughts and anxiety, like I definitely wanted to mention this right now since it's the Marine Corps' birthday. And I know a couple of guys who are not here today and they committed suicide, and it hurts because I was one of those guys that would have been. I think about this every day, bro. I think about how, like I'm 9 years old or something, because I should have been gone, at this point in time when I was about to kill myself, but I'm always inspired to see that I have another day to live and I made it another day, So when I see my veterans out in the community and they're homeless, or if I see somebody on Facebook and they're like, man, I feel like killing myself, I now understand what it's like to feel that way. And I'm able to jump in the water with them and be like, hey, look, you can get to the other side. Do you feel like you've been at that point in your life where, you may have not understood what it was like to feel suicidal, or to have that type of anxiety, or to not want to live? You never knew what it was like at first, but then you went through something, or you went through life. And now on this side of life, you're able to say, man, like if I ever met someone who felt that way, I now understand what it feels like.
I can definitely say that I understand what it's like to be at the lowest, or what you assume is the lowest low at the time. But as a man, I could admit that the entire time that I've called myself a support unit, for my buddies out there, one thing that I haven't been the greatest at was noticing that my buddy needs help and bringing the issue forth to putting it on the table and making myself available to work through it with them. Instead, it's easier for a Marine to semi-aggressively ask our buddy, hey, you all right? And he's going to reply, with his masculine, he or she is going to reply with just as tough a reply as possible to mask whatever wound it is. That's the environment we were bred in. But we got to realize that as veterans after the fact, look, it's a different fight now, we just got to live now. Some of those mental wounds and some of those internal wounds, we got to be able to recognize when our buddy is hurting, and at least say something. I can admit I haven't been brave enough for like a decade to say anything until just years of recently. And I can say, I've helped a few people, step back from that ledge. We all need to be available for each other to that extent as well. Especially on this, our birthday, we need to recognize some things.
Right. You're definitely right, especially on our birthday, because there's a lot of guys who, are like, man, I should have been, they're reliving, maybe their military career. And they're like, man, I should have been dead this time, or I should have did this and that. And they're putting a lot of negativity, mixing a lot of negativity with the good stuff too. Like, oh, I had a great time, but I missed my friends. And then COVID has people stuck in their house by themselves, and now they're alone, So like, I love what you're saying about making sure that we're making ourselves available. And people in general, if you're not in the military and you've never been in the military, and maybe the person that is going through something isn't a veteran, but like Emile was saying, like make yourself available and just be aware, look at people and say, hey man, are you good? Are you sure you're okay? Because you never know if people are going back down that slide, and when you go down that slide, it's tough stopping. It's like those metal slides. When you go down that slide of depression, it's tough. It's tough trying to stop yourself because it's a steep slide, and it's hard to get out of that, you know. And you could have all the loved ones around you. You could have the positive, you know, positivity around you, but you know, it just seems like oils on the slide when you're trying to get back up, you know. And I don't know, man. It's tough, and I never thought that, you know, I would have been the veteran, you know, that suffered with PTSD or felt suicidal. You know, I never thought or imagined when we were swimming with what was our recruiter name? I didn't forgot his name already. Just now in my mind. What's that?
Recruiter?
Yeah, that guy.
Slimeball. I mean Evans.
Evans. Yeah.
Evans.
So when we were Evans, that guy, he's probably watching today. But when we were with Evans, you know, when we were trying to teach me how to swim and everything, you know, in that pool, you know, all the way to where we are today, you know, at that time as that young kid, I would have never imagined, you know, that I would have lived through some stuff and battled with some stuff, you know. So if it wasn't for the people that were aware, you know, like, hey man, Alan, you good? You sure you good? Or, you know, like my boss, they saw me break. I broke down crying. I was working at the parking office in Virginia Beach, man. And I broke down crying, and they were like, Alan, you know, are you okay? And they just called the VA and told them that I would be there or whatnot. But, you know, I just couldn't explain or understand why I felt so down. Have you ever had someone come to you and say that? Like, I don't even know why I feel depressed or why I feel angry, you know?
Yeah. To me, the situation was intimidating. I usually have the answer for a lot of stuff where, you know, I like to solve problems and stuff like that. But, you know, to see somebody emotionally hurting, you know, and not say something is one thing. But when they bring it to you, and then it's put out on Front Street that you don't have the emotional toolbox to deal with some of their issues, you know, that's a whole different situation as well.
Facts.
And again, like making yourself available. You might not be a healthcare professional, but you don't have to be for somebody to cry on your shoulder. You don't have to be to listen. So maybe you can just try with those base level things. Because again, I do feel guilty for not having been there in certain capacities for my friends and family throughout the past, whether they were military or not. You know, just being there, just making yourself available sometimes is half the battle.
It is. It is. It's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Hey, look, that was a '90s. Was that a '90s commercial with the G.I. Joe? G.I. Joe, something like that.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Half the battle.
So
so
age, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. I remember the box TVs and everything, how heavy they were. I remember putting aluminum foil on the antennas back in the day just to get a reception. Yeah, it was like that, bro. I'm old. It's real. I feel old. I feel old school though. Like I grew up around a lot of older people. Like my grandma, she pretty much was around a lot, and so like, you know, with the wooden the canes, you know, my granddad had a wooden cane and whatnot. He would hit you with that. But I won't go back to that anyway. So about to take a travel back to spankings. Every time I go back to the past, I travel back to spankings for some reason. They're like the milestones in my life. The original PTSD. So yeah, man. So what would you tell that younger Marine who is in right now and he just got out of boot camp or she just got out of boot camp and, you know, they're about to start their careers, or maybe they just left Courthouse Bay and they're going to their first duty station? What would you tell them? What are like 3 things you would want to tell them for the start of their careers?
3 things? I mean, well,
or a few things, whatever. You don't have to be 3. I just said 3 just because it sounds
first
nice.
Off, be your own Marine. Be your own Marine. Even if it means you're emulating a Marine that came before you, hopefully he was the best, you know, or hopefully he was a shining example. Hopefully his acts were all becoming of the Marine Corps. But again, be your own Marine. Set your own goals. and just know that you can't be doing it for other people. Everything, all your actions in the Marine Corps, uh, they need to be kind of selfish in that you can't help anybody else unless you're A1 first.
Hmm.
Uh,
That's real.
so you got to make sure that you are ship shape at all times, mentally, physically, emotionally. All those got to be, you know, in check. Uh, but again, there's not a whole lot. You know, your drill
Yeah.
instructor really tells you everything you need to know for the
You
most
just
part.
gotta listen.
But it's all about self care. You got to take care of yourself, especially those wounds that the Marines tell you to cover up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
don't stop sucking up everything. Some of it you need to take care of. Get well 100% so that you can get back to 110%. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's real. And a lot of people grow up like that. Not just the Marines. It could be the Army, Air Force. Maybe not the Air Force, but I'm just playing. but but a lot of people grow up around the, hide your scars and hide your hurt, hide your pain, and go through the training, endure the process, and don't pay attention to the pain that you feel in your body. But like it's so important that we address the trauma, we address the pain, because it could be childhood trauma, it could be adulthood trauma. Whenever the trauma happened, if you never address it, it will become a disease in your life. It will infect every part of your life. And, it tears things apart. So I really feel very, very, very passionate about people pursuing their purpose while facing their traumas. You can't just go be a purpose driven person every day. There's people online right now, and they're just purpose driven. Get your purpose, and then they're just miserable on the inside. And I never want to be that person. Like, when I come out here, I'm coming out here as Alan Levi Simmons. I'm coming out here as, look, if I had a bad day, I'm going to shake it off and handle my day, but I'm not going to come out here like everything's great, people. You're never going to go through anything while you go through
Right.
while you find your
Right.
purpose. Like, no, it's not that. It's not that nice. It's not that easy. So, but yeah, so I love that advice, and if you listen to the people that are trying to teach you, you might learn something.
Oh,
you might learn
absolutely.
something. You might learn something. But
Absolutely.
so yeah, brother. Like, I just really am excited about life, man. It's really good to see you on this side of life. Like 2007, bro. This is 2020, 13
Yeah,
years ago.
we
13.
made it.
And we
Um,
made it. Vasquez, what up, my guy?
done it. My
Hey,
roommate, man.
Vasquez. I need it. I should shoot him the link and have him jump on and say what's up to you. It's a lot of people. Um, Watkins, I know Watkins. She was like, "Oh, he's getting on. I got to jump on after work." So it's just a lot of people that I haven't seen you in a while, and I haven't seen you in a while either. Gerald, what up? What it do, Gerald? Gerald said, "What up?"
What up?
Oh,
What up? What
Kyle,
up, y'all?
Kyle Banks, Kyle Banks, what up? 2068. Hey, look, Asia,
2068,
appreciate you.
man.
Hey, Platoon
We going back like
2068.
further than a decade here. Like things are getting a little foggy.
It's getting a little foggy, bro. Yeah, that decade, that 10 years, 10 years after, it starts to change. It starts to change,
Wow.
man. But yeah, so I just want to ask you, like, what do you think the number one thing is that has really kept you afloat in life? Like, what have you been doing to move forward without allowing the past to dictate your now? Like, how were you able to do that?
Well, first off, I'll start with uh, everyone's motivation post military. Everyone's motivation for keeping it going isn't going to be the same. Some people's
Yeah.
motivation was their job. Some people's motivation was just being out and
Hmm.
thinking about living life. And for me, it ended up being my children.
Hmm.
My children kind of when I was at that place that I felt, worthless, and I didn't feel as though I had purpose. I didn't feel like I meant anything to anyone. Uh, it was my children coming to me, showing me that they needed me. Period.
Mm.
Even when I wasn't at my greatest, they needed me.
Yeah.
They became my purpose. Uh, Now I can say after that, I've made myself available for my children, my family. But I was able to jump off from that point to be able to actually make myself available to to others to help them. So definitely, it was my children. They were definitely my motivation to keep going throughout all of that craziness.
Yeah. That's dope, brother. I'm glad that happened. Tiffany Anderson says, children save us all. That's facts. Children do save us all. How you doing? How you doing? Miss Anderson, I appreciate you. Hey, hey, y'all boy from the Ville. Hey, you know that?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that Jawan? What up, Jawan? I see the bodybuilder picture right there. I know that's Jawan right there flexing. What it do,
Mr.
Jawan?
Smalls. Yeah, yeah. I seen
Smalls,
him doing
Mr.
his thing.
Smalls. Yeah, man. Like it's a blessing, man, to see all my friends, my homies, my brothers and sisters out here tonight. Like it's a blessing to have all of you on here. Who's this, Ben?
It really is. Again, like we all made it.
Hey, what it
We all
do?
made it. Went past that decade mark. We still know each other. We all in
A
one
long,
piece.
it's been a long time, man. And look, man, I literally like had a flashback as I was thinking about today. I was just thinking about like Okinawa, Japan. Man, I was like, dude, we lived it up. Like, had a great time. Like as Marines, when you get around a group of people you can have a good time with, like it's nothing like that in the world. I mean, people probably feel it in like their fraternities and sororities, and we know it as Marines, because there's certain things you can do. There's certain things you can do as a Marine, like it could be a tsunami outside and you're just acting
We
a
out
fool
there.
in the tsunami.
We out there. Who's out there
Platoon
in the tsunami?
2068. That's right, Platoon 2068. Yeah, hey, that's that Parris Island platoon. Let me tell y'all, like, it's nothing like Parris Island. I'm gonna tell you all this now. If your children are going into boot camp, beware. I'm just playing. Let them go there. If your children are giving you problems, send them to Uncle Sam. I don't know if it's the same today, but I'm pretty sure our Marine Corps wouldn't, lighten up the load on people. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
Uncle Sam get you right.
he gets you right. He gets you right, man. But Emile, man, I really am glad that hopefully I can see you, in the next coming months or something like that. I know we were going to do some business together with your brother's company. The you want to talk about that real quick? The TV program.
Actually, yeah. I figure this is what we're gonna be doing. We cross promoting. We always want to help each other's platforms any chance we
Yeah.
get. But we're jumping off in a new direction. I never saw myself really being in media like that. I've never been too big a fan of the camera. But we have a new initiative. It's called You Do TV. That's u-do.tv. We have a channel that's available on any Roku device. So if you have a Roku TV, what you can do right now is go turn it on, go to search channels or add channels, and add UDO, u-do.tv.
U-do TV.
And see, this channel is special because in the wake of the election, you have, news from the Democratic side, news from the Republican side, it seems. You got Fox News and you got all other, it seems. And there's been a hard time trusting, what news outlets to go with. And part of the reason why the network's called You Do is because we are the people. Each one of us, every time we put our phone in the air and record something, we become the media instantly. And so with the new platform available to everyone, because we don't discriminate, you can send in any kind of content, and if it is worthy of network standards, then we put it on there, and it's gonna view just like Netflix.
Yeah,
But
that's dope.
I have
You
my on my TV. I have the YouTube network first, and then
yeah.
there's Netflix, and then there's YouTube. But yeah, the YouTube network is about to be the way of the world because
Yeah.
we are truly the people's network. Alan, your show's coming next on there too.
That's right. I was about to say that. We're gonna put the Purpose Pod on UDO TV. So it's U-DO TV, right?
U-do.tv.
.tv. TV. I'm putting that down right here.
Big things. Matter of fact, I'm taking a note here, Alan, because you got
Yeah.
to have that Zoom meeting with bro in a couple days about exactly that.
Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Jay
Sorry, I don't mean to
Juwan.
put your business out on Front Street.
No, you good, bro. You gotta report. Man, I'm doing all right. Glad to see my homies doing their thing. I appreciate all y'all have done. Keep inspiring family. Hey, Juwan, I appreciate you, bro. Man, it's so good to have lived a life with people, good people. You know, I remember running track back in the day. I can still like when I
Yeah.
think about a lot of my friends, like I still see y'all as those high school kids. Like I see y'all on social media. I'm like, oh dang, they look different than what I was thinking about just now. No, they don't, Tiffany. They don't take 10 to 13-year-olds. But you know what we can do? If hey Juwan, you could get on this too. And all my people out there, if y'all want to be a part of this, me and Emile, we're gonna start up a minor boot camp, you know, for 10 to 13, 10 to 14-year-old kids. Hey, that'd be dope, right? Like I really want to do something like that. I've
Yeah,
been
you
talking
know what
about
I
it for
missed?
years.
I missed it from when we were coming up. Do y'all remember the presidential physical fitness standard or challenge?
Yeah.
Remember
Yep.
that little
I remember
patches you
that.
get?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a certain amount of pride that we were getting at a young age. Like if you weren't doing some sort of, young kid sport, Pee Wee or Pop Warner or something like that, you really
Yeah.
didn't have too many stages to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when it came to that physical fitness test, presidential physical fitness test, man, it gave
Yeah.
us a stage where everyone could kind of, showcase their ability.
Yeah.
And not being a kid to play sports early like that, that's all I had. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
creating this boot camp, it gives kids an opportunity to, for one, stay in shape, but for two, test their grit against all the
Right.
other youth their age.
That's true. Let's do it. Hey, look, bro, I'm serious. Like, we should really do this. I'm down to do this boot camp. We just have to get the land donated to us. People, if y'all know someone who can get us some land donated, that would be great. And then if you know somebody else who could get their contracting company to gift us with free work on the land. Hey, look, that's what this is what we need. In order to give back, we can't pay for nothing. I'm sorry. We're veterans. What we need the community to do is to get the money so that we can get this land, so that we can start this boot camp for the youth. And I'm talking about, I believe that this thing could cycle, hundreds and hundreds of kids, just like the military. Like people are going in and out of boot camp every Friday. And we're not going to say what it's called, but people are going in and out every Friday from boot camp. And so we could do that with the youth. So I'm over here selling the dream. So one day we might do this. Vasquez says, I'm proud of you guys, and now it's time for me to get back on track. That's right, brother. Get back on track. Hey, it's time for us to get back on track. All the
Yes,
veterans
sir.
out there, let's get back on track. We were born to be leaders. We were born to be leaders in this community. Like, we're community leaders. We're supposed to be out here helping people. We're supposed to be out here supporting people because we are leaders. We are Marines. And if you're other branch, you are what you are. But we are Marines.
These are just facts, man. You don't have to
These are just facts.
apologize,
You
Alan.
don't
It's
have to
just facts.
apologize. I gotta stop. That's the civilian side. When I was a Marine or when I was active duty, I wasn't apologizing for anything rude that I was saying, but now I am. So I apologize. All right, there I go again. All right. Tiffany
It's our
says,
birthday, man.
no need to apologize. I could be a jerk today. All right. My youngest is listening. Great kid, and showing him a guy to look up to. I appreciate that. Yes. Look up, but don't look too far up. Just look across from you. There I am in the midst. We are up, but across from you, horizontally on the same level. And we support all of your dreams, all the kids out there. Like, if you want to be a Marine, if you want to be in the Army, it's okay. If you want to be in the Navy, it's okay. If you want to be in the Air Force, it's okay. If you want to be in the National Guards, it's okay. The Coast Guards, it's okay. But if you want to be a Marine, listen to this message today, kids. It will make you.
If you want to be the tip of the spear, you know where to go. You know who to talk to.
You know who to talk to.
You need some help getting pointed in the right direction. You know who to ask. It's this sense of pride we take with us for the rest of our lives.
That's right.
That's how we always know where to point. We always, if you want to come this direction, if you want to go the route that we went, Ask Alan. Don't ask me.
Don't ask me either. Look, it is what it is. Joanne says, I can get down with something like that with health and wealth. Health is wealth. Health is one reason why we are declining, and some reasons today's children and adults have many issues physically and mentally. That is a fact, Joanne. See, look, Joanne could be our fitness and health person. He could be the guy out there PTing the kids. I can see Joanne out there right now PTing some kids. All right, now let's get it together.
Well, yeah. Look, Juwan's got the credentials for it. I'm just saying.
He do. Hoorah. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we have to make sure we're out here supporting each other and supporting the people around us, making sure that we're not leaving people behind. No man left behind, no woman left behind. And like right now, you never know where you'll meet the person that you started your journey with. Like we're both, still here, 32 years old after being 18, and we're here, still standing, still shouting Marine Corps. 1, 2. But yeah, brother. So I appreciate you so much, Emile. And people, y'all could find them on Instagram. It's _ let me put that up right now. You can go ahead and shout it out real quick and I'll put it up. Can they follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, it's _ him again 88. Or actually, you know what? I think you have it right in front of you. Don't get me to lying. I'm not the biggest on social media. However, with some of these new initiatives that we have going on, I have no choice but to.
You have to get in. You have to get in on it, man. You have to get in on it because people need to see you. Absolutely. And he's a coach. So if you need some coaching, are you allowing people to come get coached with you or what?
At the moment, I will say this: I have 16 youth under my purview. So I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm 100% available like that. However, within the weeks to come, I will be getting a bigger plate, which means I can put more on that plate. I'll be able to compartmentalize and organize my time a little bit better. In that, you will not only see me a little more on social media, but via the YouDo platform, we'll probably be seeing a lot more of each other. And I mean that by I'll be seeing your content and you'll be interacting with me so that we can get
and that's it right there, right?
Disseminated to everybody out there.
Yeah. And this is it right here. Do you see it on the screen? u-do.tv.tv. So y'all make sure y'all check out that u-do.tv. The Purpose Pod will be on there. We're gonna get it on there. So the Purpose Pod will be a show. And guess what? He has his own episode on the Purpose Pod. So he's gonna have 2 platforms at the same time.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it.
So yeah, brother, I really do appreciate you. My wife says great interview. And if you hold off for a second in the background, I'll be right back after I close out the show. All right.
All right, you guys. Thank you. Hey, Alan, I really appreciate the opportunity, man. I love your platform. I love everything you're doing. And I can't wait to collab in the future, man. Here we go. We jumping off.
Here we go. Hoorah, devil dog. I appreciate you, brother. So that was Emile Revannah, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And I really do appreciate my brother. Like, it was good going back, taking a stroll through the park with my boy. Like, I wish we could go deeper into our story and our journey as Marines, but I just wanted to make sure we got our birthday celebration in. And my brother had an opportunity to speak and to introduce you guys to u-do.tv. Make sure you guys check that out today. Follow him on Instagram. It's _him_ again 88, the year of our Lord. Yes, the year of our Lord, because 88 is great. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me stop. But anyway, this has been another episode of the Purpose Pod, purposely driving you forward with power and love. Y'all have a blessed day. Marines, go be Marines. Go get turned up. Be safe out there. If you drink, don't drive. If you're driving, don't drink. Something like that. Love you. Peace.
Drop the bass.